Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome. Today, I want to talk about a topic that has been very close to my heart in the last 5 years, especially. And that topic is grief. Grief has taught me so much. In 2020, I lost my mom in August, and it was right after COVID was kind of like starting to let up. At least here in Florida, we were like allowed to go out and about and do things. So it was kind of like all the fear was letting up. And it was right then that my mom passed pretty suddenly. She had been sick for a little while, a couple months. She'd been sick. She was an over-the-road truck driver, so she would drive and then come home and go to the doctor and get a quick fix and then go back out and drive. Still not well. And finally, she came home and basically just stopped breathing. She waited till she got home. They tried to do everything they could for her, but she passed. And that moment, that call, it was heartbreaking. Like it felt like the earth was cracking to its core. So that was where I really started my journey with grief. At that time, I didn't know how to process emotions yet. I was just shoving feelings down and, not accepting feelings. Feelings made you weak. We don't have time for feelings. All of these things were in my being. However, the feelings that I felt going through this were so much, so big that I couldn't hold it anymore. I had to figure something out. I didn't know what I had to figure out yet. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, all the things I'd be learning. But yeah, August 6th, 2020. So we're going on 5 years now. So let's get into it. The grief is like a very complicated thing when you're going through it. And it's because our whole lives we feel angry or we feel sad or we feel happy, and like they don't coexist normally. And it's not compounded. So with grief, something that makes it different is that there are several emotions that are tied into it. They call it the stages of grief, which I didn't know anything about until I started therapy about 7 months, 8 months after my mom died. Before that, I was just trying to hold it all in, going through the motions, like time is gonna heal it, That's not true. Time doesn't heal anything. It really doesn't. Don't listen to that. So the stages of grief are shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And the thing about it is they come and go, and they're not in order. And there can be more than one. And they kind of lead to each other, and, it's very complex. So if you're someone right now who's grieving and it's been a year, I remember having that feeling after a year, like I should be over this by now, right? Time is going to heal me. I think a year and 2 years were like the hardest. Whenever it had been a year, I was at work and I had to work all day long, like a double shift because somebody didn't come in. And I was just like, so distraught, so sad, but I had to be at work, so there was no time for sadness. Like I couldn't be with that, and it was like heartbreaking, literally. It broke my heart. The second year, I ended up walking off the job because I had to pull another double. And I left and I went to the beach and I found a hotel room and I stayed there. And I watched the sunrise on one coast, and then I came and watched the sunset on the other in honor of her. And it's these little things that you can do to honor whoever has passed, and that does help the healing. But yeah, the shock and the denial, I'm pretty sure I was in denial for about 6 to 8 months, before I started therapy. I was just shoving everything down like, I'm fine. Nothing's changed, deny, deny, deny. And that's a normal part of grief. So if you're in that, it's totally okay. It's totally normal. I think that it comes from like the shock, like you've had somebody in your life and then they're not in your life anymore. So it's like, whoa, that's the shock. And then there's the denial, like your body can't handle it yet, It's not equipped with the tools to process. So it's easier to just pretend like it's not happening. It didn't happen. Every morning I would wake up and it would just be like this sinking feeling, like somebody pulling a rug out from under you and you're falling. Every morning that I would realize that it was real life, that my mom was gone. So it's like you kind of relive it every day until you are like, okay, this has happened, And there's the anger, the anger that they're not here anymore, the anger for all of the things that you could have said but didn't, the anger you may have towards them. That's a really big part of it that like it took me so long to go into, because you don't want to speak ill of the dead, right? But it's not even about speaking bad about them. It's about how they made you feel sometimes, which, I mean, if you're really close to somebody, like if you're really grieving somebody, there was a lot of love there. And I find that in most relationships that are that close, there's anger. Like there's been mistreatment on both sides. We're humans and we aren't perfect. So mistakes have been made. And maybe we didn't say anything about it while they were alive. But it's like so important to process that even though they're gone. And one of the things that I've done with that is like sitting at a table and pretending like she's there. And then just telling her whatever it is that I need to tell her, A lot of the times when people are here on earth in the physical form, like you couldn't tell them this stuff because they wouldn't have heard it. Maybe they wouldn't have accepted it. Maybe it would have started a big fight. Maybe they would have like said, you're not part of my family anymore. So, to clear this off of you and get out that anger is really important. I was really, really angry. Like, I didn't know where it was coming from. I just wanted to smash things and break things, destroy things. Like, so working through that, doing a lot of journaling, and just clearing all that from me. Rewriting the stories I was telling myself that were making the anger even stronger, Bargaining. This one even 5 years later, I still go into the bargaining. And I think the bargaining comes from the anger. They're connected. But bargaining is like, if I would have done this, then would they still be alive? If this would have happened, would this have happened? So it's like, imagining different scenarios. And I mean, it's helpful. The reason that this is helpful in grief is because it's kind of how we learn. If something happens that's bad, we want to extract all the information out of that so that maybe in the future we can make different choices, so that maybe the next one doesn't die. So it's an important part, but it's also important to kind of call yourself back and be like, listen, it's okay to extract the information out of this, but there's nothing that I could have done that would have changed this. What's done is done. And once you realize that, then it's kind of like depression sinks in, and that's the next one, the depression. Like, I did everything I did, and this is how it turned out, and it's sad. It's so sad whenever you have somebody that's like your biggest cheerleader in life, and who, anytime anything good happens, anytime anything bad happens, anytime anything happens, you call them, and then they're not there anymore. Like, oh, it's so sad. It's so sad to not be able to celebrate them with them there, Their hugs, the way they laughed, the music they listened to, like everything. It's depression, and totally normal, totally fine, part of it. It's a part of the processing. Once you are through with that, then you might get peaks of acceptance. Acceptance has been a really beautiful thing for me. It's like in the midst of feeling the sadness or the anger or the bargaining, feeling it and allowing it to be there, sitting in it, crying. My crying will turn to a smile. And then I just have this immense feeling of love inside of me. And I think that that's what acceptance is. So I had a really hard time 5 years ago when my mom died. She was really my first experience with grief, especially so close. I lost my dad in December of 23. So it was 3 years and 4 months after my mom had passed. And the differences between processing his death and her death were night and day. And I mean, part of it's probably because she had already done it. She had died and I had processed it, so I'd been through it before. But I think part of what made hers so difficult, obviously because it was the first one, I was closer to my mom, so that made it a little more hard too. But the thing about it is whenever she died, I didn't have emotional intelligence. I didn't know how to feel anger. I didn't know how to feel sadness. I wouldn't feel it. I would just ignore it, deny it, and make it go away. Of course, it doesn't go away, and it got too big, so I had to learn how to process emotions. And I really think that that's the biggest thing. Like, if he would have gone first and her second, I think I would have had the same difficulties in learning how to process emotions with him, and then hers would have been. See me bargaining right there? But not knowing how to process emotions and not wanting to feel your emotions is a very normal thing. Like, that's how we're trained. But it's not healthy. And it can make the grieving process take much longer and be much harder because those feelings are still in you, even if you're not feeling them. So learning how to feel these feelings, sitting with the feeling, whenever you're feeling sad, like a song comes on, like allowing yourself to cry and feel that, like just let it out, let it rip. You know, one of the things that really has helped me is knowing that grief is love with nowhere to go. So when you're feeling that sadness, it's that you have all of this love in your heart for this person, but you can't express it to them. So express it. Like, they may not receive it. You may not be able to see them receive it or hear them receive it, but you can still write it down. You can still speak it to the sky. You can pretend like you're talking to them. I do that all the time. A lot of the times when I'm driving alone, I put my hand over my passenger seat, and it's like my mom is holding my hand. And I feel all of the support from her. It's so weird. Like, I feel more supported now than I did when she was alive. And it's hard to admit that because she was very supportive when she was alive. She was such a beautiful soul. But it's like now she's somewhere and she's pure. And like her support isn't restrained by her traumas, her experiences, and her, you know, what do they call it? Conditioning. She's free now. So finding a way to express this love is key, I think, in healing grief. Finding ways to honor them and keep them alive is a key to healing grief. Feeling the feelings, whatever they are, whenever they come up. It's so random, and oftentimes I'm surrounded by people, and I've come to be okay with just crying, you know? Or if I need to, I can leave. But respecting that, like, it's part of the love. Part of the love is that when it's not physically there anymore, because it's still there, like, right? You feel it. You still feel that love, even though they're not here. It's just that you can't, like, give it to them. And you can't get it from them, except you can. And that's the thing. You can still give them love. You can still feel their love, even though they're not here. And that's so beautiful. It still hurts, though. 5 years later, it still hurts. I see all the time in my support groups that, like, oh, it's been 8 months, it's been a year. People are saying I need to get over it. Like, it's not like that. I'm sure I'm going to feel sad about this until the day I die. It's not going to go away. But I can sit with it and feel it and then express that love. And let it fill me, you know? What else did I want to say? Oh, here's a good one. So whenever we are feeling sad, feeling depressed, and we don't allow ourselves to be that way, that's gaslighting yourself. Like, oh, there's nothing wrong. Oh, there's nothing wrong. I'm okay. I can handle this. When really there's a lot wrong. That's creating cognitive dissonance within yourself. because your body knows that something is wrong. No matter how much your brain tells it, that just creates more friction. So being true to what you're feeling and allowing that, knowing that it's okay. It's part of your humanness. It's part of your humanness. It's part of the love. It's part of the experience. And I promise you, you will get to a place where you can feel that love even stronger. And it's so beautiful. I would have thought I was crazy if I would have heard that 5 years ago. I was like, I'm never gonna be okay. I'm never gonna be okay. But I am. And it's an interesting relationship now, my parents and I have. I miss them terribly. And at the same time, I appreciate their input that they have now. They give me signs. I can hear, like if I ask them a question, they answer it for me. And you know, it may just be me making it all up to make myself feel better. But if it's making me feel good and whole, what's wrong with that? You know, why not do that? Why not do something that works to make yourself feel better, right? Oh, there was another point that I wanted to make. So there's a few things that people say about grief that are just wrong, and I've already covered one of them, which is time heals all wounds. And that is just the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard. Like, you can sit there and wait and shove them feelings down and expect time to heal it, but it's just not going to. They're just going to get bigger. It's going to fester, and you're going to become a shell of a person and want to know why you can't experience feeling anymore. Joy, sadness, any of it. You're just numb. Walking Dead, right? You died too. And, you know, that's not good. They don't want that for you. Which brings me to my next one. Be strong for, you know, your work. Be strong for your family. Be strong for whatever. And this is actually the thing that I was just trying to think about. So yay, it came back up. I think one of my issues with grief, like, so my mom lost her parents both when I was like 2. And she was grieving them, but like quietly. I never knew it. I never knew it until I was like 16 and we went out west and she had never seen her mom's grave. And like that's whenever I learned that she was sad. Like, to me, growing up, I just didn't have grandparents. And I was, like, selfishly mad about that. Everybody else had grandparents, and they would spoil them and stuff. But mine were dead. And, you know, I would probably make her upset by saying things like that, too. She's like, well, I wanted my parents here, you know? But with her and the way she came off, it didn't seem to bother her, you know? And, like, it really hit whenever she died, my mom. Like, how did she hold it together? Like, how did I not know that she was sad about it? Like, why didn't she show it? And that's the thing that I'm changing with my kids. Like, anytime I'm sad about it, I let them know and I talk about her. And I talk about how I'm feeling and the things that I'm doing to process this, because one day I'm going to die too. And you know what I don't want? I don't want them to hide that they're sad from the world. I don't want the sadness to get lodged in them and have them making crazy decisions that's hurting themselves because they don't know how to process their sadness, because they feel like they need to stay strong at this time of, I don't want to call it weakness, but like vulnerability, like, I want them to feel it, whatever it is. I don't care. If they're happy I'm dead, feel that. If they're sad, feel that. I want them to process it in a healthy way. And what my mom did was shove it all down and pretend like it didn't happen. Denial. She was probably in denial for 13 years so that she could stay strong to raise me and my sister. But, like, did that actually benefit anybody? I don't think it did, because all that pain in her led to behaviors that caused more pain. She's self-medicating with alcohol and such. And then not knowing how to process grief as an adult because you never seen it. Like, the way that I saw it was, you got to stay strong. You got to stay strong for your kids. You got to stay strong for your job. You got to do, even whenever you're falling apart and about to die. And that's not what I want for my kids. I want them to grieve in whatever way is for them, in a way that it doesn't hurt them and the people around them because they're shoving it down. So being strong for anybody other than yourself, it's just like, you don't have to do that. A hard thing happened, and it's okay to take time. A lot of time. There is no time limit on this. Like, people are grieving for 20, 40, 60, 80 years. Like, it doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. You learn how to feel it and alchemize it. And if you don't, then it really doesn't go away. And then it continues. And it's just, I see it all the time. I gotta be strong for my kids. Like, what your kids need is to see you crack open and heal yourself. That's what they need. They need a healthy parent. Your work needs a healthy employee. Everybody who needs you to be good. And the way to do that is to process it and feel it. Allow it. Don't put a time limit on it. Time isn't going to heal it. You will. By being present with yourself, wherever you're at right now. That's all. May you grieve well. Love you. Bye.